So, it's like another video. I mean, you pretty much have to repeat the same shit over and over. It's almost like you have to do what they do, except for the fact that no one ever seems to understand. Hold on, let me get a chair here. Pretty much have to do the same thing everyone else does. Just repeat yourself over and over and over and over and over and over. Except for the fact that that's designed like, it's just designed like the humans are incapable of learning, and they're like created to be stuck in a certain time frame to be the supporting terrorists and slaves of the New World Order. And it's kind of like sometimes it seems as if it's the New World Order is already there and their slaves are already there. They just want to convince you that it's not already that way. But I can tell you, I can look into pretty much everyone and find fucking discrepancies in their story, things that they'll never correct. Like, there's a huge difference between someone who's going to correct themselves and then people aren't. And then there's them, and they'll correct themselves when it's time for their agenda to move forward, and not until. And they won't continually self-correct. They will only correct at the intervals in the timeline where it's needed. Like, for instance, Alex Jones, it's possible he's a free-thinking individual, but his commenters, his slaves are not. The truthers are stuck in the past. They're dead. They're mentally dead. Their ideas are dead. Everything they say should be thrown out the window because they lied so much. Even 9/11 truth, it doesn't matter what evidence, what unsubstantial evidence you think you have that you consider proof. What matters is that if you can think, you know a liar told you those words. So therefore, you are disingenuous if you repeat what a liar says. And you cannot go forward with Bigfoot stories. They tell you, did Bigfoot fucking blow up 9/11? It was Bigfoot. No, it wasn't Bigfoot. Bigfoot punched the tower to distract you, and Loch Ness Monster tunneled under the towers and they fell. Well, it doesn't matter. Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster fucking destroyed the towers, right? You're not going to be able to prove that. How are you going to prove that? Fucking, you found some of Bigfoot's hair at the fucking crime scene in wood scale from Loch Ness Monster. Get the fuck out of here. So, without further ado, we're going to go straight into this. Isn't about that. I mean, again, just discussing the same bullshit over and over. It's useless. And especially when you've discussed it to these people over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Like, the truthers are fucking idiots. They just follow the same deception over and over. Like, the truthers, the libertarian, conspiracy theorists, alt-righters, GDL, it's all the same exact fucking people. Like, we can prove this over and over again. It's no different. Did I say libertarians in there? Because I meant to. So, this goes on to even more proof of who the GDL is and their ties with the previous people who just like the previous people they claim they were against, but now they're best friends with the GDL's best. It's the GDL2. Never confuse the fact that while the GDL1 very well may be a deception by the same people and it was set up years in advance, the simple fact that Adam Green lies about creating it is enough to discredit him. And if you don't think the basis of his movement being a lie is enough to discredit a movement, then you're simply unable to think. You're not necessarily mentally incompetent, but it's possible that your computer chip, when you were created in the lab, was designed so that you cannot outthink your perimeter. In Rainbow Six Siege, when I play Rainbow Six Siege, I cannot punch my computer monitor or shoot my computer monitor and it makes like the bullet stronger or my melee attack stronger, right? It's not because the game is stupid, it's because it wasn't programmed to work that way. So you got to make the argument whether, if you're in these movements, whether you're stupid or whether you're incapable of self-thought. And I've already questioned the incapable of self-thought. The humans are programmed to act like fucking psychos when you start to question that parameter inside them. So it's even more very likely that is the exact parameter. And it's something they cannot touch. Like, it's not like an ego trip for them either. They aren't like, oh my god, I can't think, I'm so stupid. It's just a simple, like, if you're programmed, if your brain, your computer, your CPU was unable to process how to take a dookie, my computer can't take a dookie in a toilet that I know of, so it's not been programmed to do that, right? It can't understand, it can't take a dookie, but I'm sure you put it inside a robot with a gun, or a white supremacist with a gun, then maybe that robot will kill you for saying that, especially if you program the robot, you are a robot supremacist, you are so good you didn't do nothing, it's all their fault, it's all Israel's fault that you can't poop, computer, it's Israel's fault, you can't poop, blame Israel, here's a gun, it's exactly what it's like. But getting a little off the path when I get into that. I mean, it's still vital. It's still vital to, like, once you get so far, you're not worrying about who controls the media. Like, if you've not gotten far enough to understand who controls anything, then you don't understand anything. But once you get there, you start realizing those people have, like, complete control over those people. Like, not like I have complete control over a cat or a dog, but like I have complete control over my water bottle. And more accurately, like I have complete control over my computer. I can make my computer do some shit it probably didn't want to. But at the end of the day, it's still a brainless piece of shit that can't fucking really do anything I can't do. It's not going to be able to outthink me. It's not going to be able to think around me. And I can definitely fucking outthink it. So it's not an issue there. So we're getting into this. Okay, so recent visit to Israel is Adam Green. Obvious. We've already proven his whole movement's a lie because he says he created it. He didn't invent the GDL. He invented the GDL2, and he won't acknowledge that. I'm sure they respond to my videos sometimes, like not openly. Most people aren't that dumb. I've been baiting the media owners for like 10 years to be dumb enough to repeat anything I say. That's often why I say really stupid stuff. People are like, "What, you're making us look so bad?" It's like, no, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I don't care what you look like, because you're already an idiot. So you look like an idiot 24/7. No fucking problem with me. I'm not condemning you. That's your choice. But I do shit to fucking test people, to test the world. I give a fuck about what a person thinks. But I want to test the world and see what's going on in it. And see how its energy responds to what I do. And sometimes that involves testing the humans, but the humans are very basic, and it was easy. It took like 3 years of testing them to understand their logic circuitries design, their software design. So they aren't, I'm not even testing, they're not even important. They're like deceptions in a machine. They're like your CD-ROM drive, fucking the computer. It's like don't even have a CD-ROM drive anymore. Who gives a fuck about it? It became obsolete, right? You better call the CD-ROM drives because they're useless eaters. The CD-ROM drive is literally useless space in a computer. And that's what happens. So, just like the conspiracy theorists, the libertarians, the alt-righters, the alt-lighters, and soon the GDL, they're just obsolete and useless. And they didn't wake anyone up. They told you stuff and then would close the door and close it all down. And I'm seeing all the people big enough to get advertised are, working in this. Even there's this Da Vinci guy. He looks like one of them. And, you want to believe his bullshit. So he's, so you're like, oh, maybe that's an Italian, which I'm sure at this point that's what Italian means anyways. I mean, who else controlled Rome? And Rome's part of Italy, so, yeah, who else are the fucking Italians? So, even the Da Vinci guy, like, he's part of the anti-Zionist deception, which if you're like over 4 years into studying this stuff, you're incapable, or you have learned that anti-Zionist it's them. It doesn't matter if you're anti-Zionist, it's them controlling you. It's them. They want you to say that word because it's a special safe word that says nothing. Kind of like the word Satanist says nothing, yet the Bible says, I can't quote the Bible because it would, like, if you would actually like expose the Bible, that probably not allowed on anywhere. Probably have white people trying to kill you for quoting the verse of the Bible that says, "For salvation is of the Jews. Ye know not what ye talk about when you speak of this religion." So that's the Bible right there. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Salvation is of the Jews. This is our religion, not yours. So you have that, and then you have their opposition, Satanism, and then they're probably Muhammad as well, and all that. But don't disrespect the humans programming, who they're programmed to worship. Don't fuck them up with facts. Which that's an important key to this, what we're talking about here, because these people, they always quote it like it's legit, and basically I quote it because it's a book of global supremacy. They just want to dominate the world, dominate your mind in the world with these books, and they successfully do that. They're doing everything in the books they said they're going to do. They kill you off if you speak of them. And you actually hurt them and you aren't them. Of course, there's many people alive today who can still speak of them. And none of them say they've ever been attacked or poisoned or anything. They expose them slightly, but they barely do anything. And then they lead you back into these groups, trying to deceive you. And so, this was originally just going to be about redice, but I came here and like right away I'm showing all this other shit because Adam Green is at the top of redice page, and he's like, thanks for having me on. So like Adam Green is part of the alt-right now, which he claimed to be against, but it was obvious by his earlier videos he was part of it because he was a Trumper. So I mean, that's how easily these people prey upon your tiny gerbil minds. Is he's just like, hey, I love Trump. And then you're like, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump. Like, why are you saying I love Trump? The TV said I love Trump, I love Trump. Like, okay. And then so like a year later, he's like, okay, we don't like Trump. And you're like, I don't like Trump, I don't like Trump, I don't like Trump. Why don't you like Trump? The TV said I don't like Trump, I don't like Trump, I don't like Trump. And then, now he's like back to hanging out with these people. I mean, they can just I would say spit in your face, but they're not spitting in your face. If you're incapable of thought and you're a terrorist too. If you're incapable of thought or you are a terrorist too, then they aren't spitting in your face. They're just celebrating ignorance with you. And you're willfully being a terrorist and willfully doing this. And anyone whose brain operates enough to take a breath and sustain oxygen, then they know better. They're programmed to know better. They're just not overriding that programming to care, Again, it gets into debate who the humans are, since they're incapable of self-thought, what they are. That really comes down to what the humans are. They are just like, they brag in one media outlet, they're demonic specters, and that is quite a definition. Although they don't treat them as demonic specters, you do kill them all in that form of media. Those people all die, which is a logical outcome of learning you're in a world full of specters being terrorized by them. But they don't they treat it as if the overlords of the demonic specters are like these cool people. They're mysterious and you should follow them and listen to every word they say because they know everything, and that's the only way you're going to learn is by listening to them. But in reality, it was designed by them. In reality, if a logical person was in that Bioshock atmosphere, you would kill those people who control those demonic robots in Bioshock. The people leading you, like that little girl who's leading you, who's not really a little girl, but she's a demonic specter, you would kill that person. You would kill that specter. You would attempt to, at least. And then there's the two scientists in that who are they're supposedly physicists, the girl and the guy, and they follow you. And, they basically lead you into all those traps and shit. You would kill those people, but in the game you have no choice. You have to do as they say, do as Mark Levin, who created the game, says, or not. Who produced the at least third installment says, or not. So, when we have these groups, I come here, I was going to expose you, why do I have to expose redice hundreds of times over and over and over? They're dead. Anyone still stuck on redice, you're irrelevant. What you have to say does not matter. You're stuck in the past. You're trying to hold humanity back. You're trying to drag other people down to your level of your white supremacist Nazi bullshit. And that's exactly what it is. There is no other explanation to who people whining about white people all the time are. Look, you're not fucking important, period. White robots are not fucking important if all they're going to do is sit around and say, we need to breed and we need to kill more brown people. Now, that's probably illegal to say on YouTube or anywhere, to say that white people, or anyone who says we need to kill all brown people is not important. That's definitely illegal for me to say because I'm not being told, I'm not being paid to tell you all this stuff. I'm trying to explain it, how it works, how the reality works. And if you link it together, that leads to huge issues for the people on the media, the people on the government, most of the people, period. So, that's what it is. Everyone can say that. You just go to these conservative pages and it's never changed. It's nothing new. It's the same people who hide behind fake accounts all the time saying stuff I can't say in this video because I'll get banned, but they can say it because they are not who they say they are, and they are. So they're Trump's mouthpiece, they're Trump's family, stuff like that. They can say that stuff because they're them. But if I even repeat it, just satiricizing it or insulting it, then that's not allowed. So I can't repeat a lot of this stuff says on here, like, but so let's focus on what I was just shown. On the redice here, they bring on Adam Green. So right away, that discredits Adam Green. If you're not smart enough to question Adam Green to begin with, then what makes you think you should be fucking smart enough to do anything? I mean, you're new to it, right? Like when I go, let's say I'm gonna go join the folk, right? And I want to be a folk member. You know, I get beat in the gang, and then I don't instantly go, hey, y'all, this is a good idea, this is a good idea, this is a good idea, this is a good idea. I sit around and I would listen to what the other members say, and then maybe, eventually, at some point in time, I would contribute. But I would just be like, this is how it's going to be, dog. We's doing that. And, you know, I would comment on things I don't understand, and they got these TTFU, tighten the fuck up saying, and that's important. Like, you kick weak people the fuck to the side. I mean, you know, not like that, but you don't let them in your personal life. You don't let them, you know, fucking bring you down to their level of ignorance and weakness. You give them $5 and, like, go to the dollar store, dude. Here's $5. You'll be there all day. See, that's what you do with weak people, fucking like these people. And that's just a fact of life. I understand most people aren't like that, and most people probably are the weak people, so they don't like the facts. But I mean, just look at it. If you are a weak person, look at how the people you look up to have probably fucking treated you. It's like they get sick of your shit, and generally they were sick of someone else's shit like you before you even came along, so they were already dealing with you when you came along. I've seen that happen, and I didn't understand what's happening, so you're like, what the fuck's that? That's weird. That's kind of offensive. But then when you learn what's happening, you're like, that's not offensive at all. It's the weak person who is taking their weakness, and they're going to use passive aggression and ignorance to weaken you. So you gotta, like, cut that type of shit off. Like traitors, like, they're going to use passive aggression and ignorance. And even once they become psycho stalkers obsessed with you, and they learn you don't worship them the same way they worship you, or you don't even want them around, and they worship you, period, and the ground you walk on, ooh, death time for you. So it could go even beyond that, into death. I mean, look at stars. Like, these are the same type of people who worship stars. The redice fans, the GDL fans, these are the same people who worship stars, Madonna, and then go to Madonna's house, and, like, people walk around Madonna's house, like, waiting for her to come outside so they can be like, hi, I'm your biggest fan. And it's like, that those people aren't really your fans. They're people who are going to kill you and try to kill you eventually. I mean, many people have tried that with many of these stars. And it comes down to the fact that you're, like, telling them to get the fuck off my property, stop stalking me, shut the fuck up, you know. And that, like, you got to play it cool with your stalkers, because stalking's real shit. I suppose most people probably fucking never earned any stalkers, because it takes some sort of earning generally to get it. But it's not a cool situation. Like it's cool if you like the person. Like if you have, like, someone who's stalking you and you like them back, like, that's kind of cool, because that person would, like, want to be with you all the time. You're like, yeah, it's not really stalking. I like the person. But when you're like, hey, I gotta go do something. They're like, no, I I need you to be here so I can look at you and stare at you. And I gotta sleep. No, I need you. No, I gotta go get some food. I gotta eat. I'm starving. I'm losing weight because I'm hanging out with you all day. And they're like, stab. You're dead. That's like a bad situation. So I guess, fucking, you can get fucked up all sorts of ways, but these people are like bad people. If they were real, like I said, we go into the discussion. I already went into the discussion. Are the humans like even capable of self-thought? I don't think they are, because they stay the same over and over. There really that many terrorists? Like 99% of the world's population is just passive-aggressive terrorists. Those are weird numbers, right? And I understand that the numbers do show that 99% of the population is not the 1% that's intelligent and highly advanced. But I don't think thinking is like really involved with being intelligent. I think the ability to think is separate from being intelligent. You could be able to think and just not be intelligent due to deception and misinformation, but if you just are unable to think, that's weird numbers. If 99% of population can't think, like 99% of my computers can't think, at least, right? So yeah, start looking at that all weird, like, and just like how many ways they can deceive themselves in attempting to deceive you. They wouldn't even, like a normal person, like a free thinking individual would not do all that stuff. They wouldn't be able to deceive themselves for too long. But when we look at the alt-right's like a 6-8 year movement now, and these people have deceived themselves for 6 to 8 years, repeating the same slogan over and over, never ever attempting to say anything else. And so we're at the GDL, which is the new arm of the alt-right, which is actually, it went alt-right, alt-light, GDL. GDL2, let's make although I'm sure the one is a deception because they're accepting the GDL2 at the GDL1. So they're definitely taking it over, even if the 4 people, the one person who created it and like the 4 other beside them, and then even if they don't fully accept it, they're taking over that GDL, so it's too late for that. It's like you can't just start mixing a few drops of cyanide in your water and your water's safe. Your water's useless. You throw it away. So they terrorized they're not good people because they terrorized Brett Favre, just like the alt-right did Taylor Swift, exact same thing. So you can tell that the same people who have been writing the Daily Stormer are running the GDL. They're using the same motives, the same script, all that. They're tying back into the same people. So it's the same people. We just don't know. We didn't get to see the face of who was writing Daily Stormer. We were given a face, but only idiots think when you see a picture of someone it's real. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a bird here, dude. Is that the Nestle bird? It says Nestle, good food, good life. And the birds, there's actually 3 birds in that picture. So those birds are real. According to the Daily Stormer fans, those birds are real. Those birds probably printed this whole fucking bottle. No, I'm sorry, those people right there, they printed the fucking bottle. You know why I know? Because the picture is associated with it. Wow. It's that simple. If you're fucking family members for thousands of years and breeding, maybe you are fucking smarter than me, and you've got like superior genetics, and you just know this deep shit, and I'm too dumb to understand that those 3 people on that label I'm too dumb to understand that those three people created this delicious water. Thank you, pink people. That sounds so offensive to say. Pink people. That's racist. We know who the pinks are, the Southern Justice Warriors. So, yeah, that's actually who we're talking about here, the Southern Justice Warriors. Yeehaw. So, the Southern Justice Warriors of the GDL and the alt-right. Who else are they tying into this? Like they're coming out in the open that they're all the same people now and they're all working together. Okay, so right here we have here's a name, Zionist Report. That's something you should have questioned years ago. And if you didn't question it years ago, it's because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And every time someone uses the word Zionist, they're just scapegoating Israelis for what other people are doing, for what Nazis are doing, literally, for what the Nazis are doing. So, that's like no good. That's not truth, to scapegoat Israelis for what the rest of the world did. That definitely helps them at the end of the day to continue on that path. It could be vital terminology to direct people a certain direction. But the fact that all these leaders of these groups aren't using terminology to play 3D chess. They're using terminology to beat your head in with a chessboard. That's that's the given right there. They're not playing 8-dimensional chess in a land time far, far away from the galaxy where the Empire was in control, when the Snorks fucking lived underwater and the Smurfs were playing fucking 8-dimensional checkers at the same time, and it was so confusing you'll never be able to understand it, you stupid ass. No. They're not playing fucking chess. They probably don't even know how to play fucking chess. They definitely don't know how to fucking think for the most part, because their thoughts and their deceptions are really easy to break through. And that's how you can tell, like, that it's, it's another of the million ways you can tell it's all fucking organized, because it's like organized into small sections, and they keep them fucking cordoned off so it doesn't spill over. You may end up into another one, but it doesn't spill over too far. The leak is contained. So Zionist Report's right here, one of the top commenters. So that's who these people are working with. And you can see from all the top commenters, they're like, they do the bidding of Israel. Yeah, let's blame Israel. Let's look at a few more real quick. No More News, Adam Green, top commenter on redice there. Redice, the alt-right Nazis. GDL claiming they are not the Nazis. GDL claiming they are not white supremacists, but redice is white supremacists. And that's a default lie, because there's no such thing as white supremacists. There's all these retards out there who will tell you that I was born with white skin, so I created the universe. And in fact, if from my recollection, anyone who has said they're a supreme white person has never proved they could do anything at all. The opposite of supremacism would be talking about supremacism. The opposite of action is talking. So if you're talking about doing something, you're not going to fucking do it. You're just running your fucking chicken fucking beak. And so if I'm sitting around like, I'm Supreme Whitey, the Supreme Whitey is falling, the Supreme Whitey is falling, the Supreme Whitey is falling. If you're sitting around saying that, then you're definitely not Supreme Whitey, because you're not doing anything. Everyone's doing more than that, except for you. You're like, I'm going to have babies. I'm going to have babies. I found me a 16-year-old blonde, white girl. So now I'm going to have supreme babies. I just turned 17 last month. And now we're going to have babies. We're going to baby, supreme babies. I can tell my babies are going to be supreme because I'm white. But, they told me on TV, if I just have white babies, I'll be supreme. Have white babies at 16 years old. Baby. The government can take care of them. Baby. That's how you run the system. You just have babies. Just have babies. And they come out so smart because they're white. And if they're not white, we can dip them in bleach. And then they'll be white. And then they'll be smart. Wow. It's going to work like that, ain't it? Of course it is. That's how it always works, right? You just have a white baby and you're so smart. Your white baby came out, it knew how to work on cars. It knew how to build rockets. Your white baby came out and it knew how to colonize Mars. See, you've known how to colonize Mars. You just haven't done it, have you? Because who needs to do it? Who are you trying to prove anything to? All you got to do is say, I've got white skin. I'm with red eyes in the GDL. I've got white skin. Look, there's a Mexican in the GDL. We're not white supremacists. There's a person with the Mexican's name. They've got a Mexican name. There's a fake account online called Pedro with the picture of a black woman. Clearly, that's not a Nazi in disguise. That's proof we're not white supremacists. Pedro. Mrs. Pedro. I miss Pedro. I from Europe. I live Europe so good. I not white supremacist, GDL for life. Yeah, you read it on the internet. It's true. Only the truth can be typed into a computer. Haven't you ever? See, none of y'all know about computers, do you? They program the computer so you can't fucking type false information into it. Just like I'm recording this, right? I can't tell a lie. Just like the Terminators. Remember, they made Terminator 2. What did Arnold Schwarzenegger say in that movie? He said, I'll be back. And he came back. See, he can't lie. The movie Terminator was real. He said he'll be back. He came back. You can't even fucking stop that, man. Man, that's the truth. The truth. It was on TV. It's written on the internet. They're not Nazis. They're just talking about white people 24/7. And everyone in the comments is saying stuff I can't say, like, kill all the non-whites. I'm sorry if that offends people, that I'm repeating your fucking Nazi propaganda. But, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, you can't expose the actual Nazis. You can only hate them. So, you have this idiot tied in with the white supremacists claiming the GDL isn't a white supremacist movement, but it is. It's just the Nazis again. They're acting like they're cool with you because they want to work their way into your mind and they want to claw it all apart. And they want to convince you most of those people are real and not bots, which at all the Nazi sites, it's 99% fake accounts. Generally, the one person who's not fake is me at a place with 250,000 comments. That's pretty fucking fishy. So they're either all preteens, because you all know that when you're a preteen, you hide your face on the internet for some reason, because you realize you're a kid and no one cares what you have to say and it's irrelevant, and you also realize you're a kid. No one cares what you say because you're an idiot, so you don't really want to stand behind what the fuck you say either, because you know you're a fucking idiot. But mostly that's used to protect the fact that the government can pay 100,000 people, the FBI and Trump can work together to fabricate a narrative of white supremacy. And then fabricate another movement saying, it's not white supremacists, I swear. Have more white babies to help non-whites. To help have more white babies to help nations who don't belong in become white. Yeah. Okay, so we're done with this one page. We're going to move on. So we've already discussed, how Zionists report is like worship at the sites. So we could already discuss them another way. But the word Zionist discredits you. Like that magically, again, one of my pages acts up. Wow, I am right there watching it. That's so weird. Oh, okay, yeah. See, I'm just being an idiot. I was just staring at that so long. Oh no, that did totally change. Okay, wow. At first I thought I was wrong, but that TV did. That channel did literally change the page it was on to something else. That it's on. Okay. Or it brought up a different page, whatever. See, I can be wrong. But I'm right about this. And you can show this time and time again. So, when Adam Green went to Israel, he went with a couple other people who are deceptors. And right here, you find out on his page about this. Because, is this guy an agent or just crazy voting comments? And he's talking about another person who magically unbanned me after I said I was banned by them. And it made a little comment about their Bible worship, which is a red flag at this point. It's clear they used the Bible to trick the minds of millions, and everyone knows that. That's like a given to any free thinker who's not already trapped by the Bible. That looks pretty fucking suspicious from the outside. So, is this guy an agent or just crazy voting comments? No More News, December 7th, 2018. So you go to the comments, and the first commenter, like, you always gotta watch who they top comment, because that's like their boyfriends, or a tranny they're obsessed over, or, it's the line of thought that the page will agree with. Okay, so they say Chris Dorsey is mentally ill, useful to the government, but he is like, other than the fact that he is, leading people to their slaughter with the Bible, he is pretty truthful with the Jewish supremacist Bible, because there is no other Bible. The Bible's not for non-Jews. You do not know what you speak of. The Bible. Let's read the verse here, because there's going to be all these naysayers like, oh my God, I can't believe he's quoting the Bible. I love the Bible. Don't tell me the stuff in the Bible I don't want to hear. I like the 50% of the Bible that says stuff I like. That's the best part of the Bible, right? Is the Bible I like. So it says, John 4:22, King James Version. This dude specifically all the time mentions King James Version, which includes King James approved the slaughter of the Goyim in the story of Esther. So that right there, like, that's the whole purpose of that. He wants you to worship that. He wants you to worship their cult that says they'll kill you if you disagree with them at the end of the day. John 4:22, ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation of the Jews. Basically, it says, if you believe in the Bible and you think it's for white people or anyone else as the Jews, you're stupid. It says, you don't know what you're talking about. It's for us. So that's their words, that's their book, and that's King James backing it up. Clearly, I get shown all this stuff because I asked for it, and it just gets thrown out in front of me, like the rest of this we're going to go back to. So, they're like, no more news. Adam Green's all like being against. What's his name? Chris Dorsey, and it's just kind of like an infight thing. Where they just, stage a little fight, it looks like. So you have this person at the top, BLANCHE Blanche TV. And so right away, like, once you, are fully aware, you know to, research these people that they approve of. Instantly, something's up. So further down in the comments, you learn that you go to the next, you go further down in the comments, you see Zionist report, and you see other people using other special words, and you see, as general, mostly fake accounts, people not backing it. But with the GDL, they've had to create a lot of really stupid names, so you can look for that, and they try to push that off as those are non-whites, and it's like, it really doesn't matter if they're non-whites or not, but they're, they push those names off. They're like, well, look, we're not white supremacists, we just only hang out and only talk to white supremacists. So, and then you have Jesus saves, because Adam Green needs to keep you in that worshiping them realm where you worship everything they say. It all kind of ties back into it. Even though they're acting like they're against Chris Dorsey, they're really for that part, but they're against the other part where Chris Dorsey calls, the government criminals. Like, they're pretty much against that stuff, which is like, he's technically doing more than anyone. Everyone else is just running their lips. He's going out. He's not necessarily going out on the street and saying anything of value that's not provoking people, but he's going out there, and then he's, attempting to make it look like he's saying it's time to deal with the terrorists. And the other people aren't doing that. They're doing their own deception. But then again, just like Alex Jones, when he goes out in the street, he's really not looking like he's educating people. He's like trying to fight and fuck with people. So, that ties right into his need to worship the Jewish supremacist handbook. So, let's move on to who's Blanche TV. We can go through here and see the usual suspects. Zionist report, Nicholas Da Vinci, or whatever his name is. Now let's go to Blanche TV. Okay, so here's a video. Hidden Gems of Jerusalem with special YouTuber guests. Oh gee. Now we're about to learn why she's so important to GDL. That is because she went to Israel, her probably homeland. Well, it's no one's homeland. It doesn't exist. But saying you went there definitely helps it exist. So, it says right there, so you went there with Adam Green and Jake Morfinos. And Jake Morfinos now is tied into the white supremacists and the GDL. And he's allowing himself to do that. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing that for a while. He's been deceiving people. He even calls himself Blackstone Intelligence. They just spit in your computer face. Spit in your computer circuits. And, well, that's enough. What I've heard of this person, if they're hanging out with the white supremacists, but they claim to be a Palestinian. And, I don't think so. You look at them, they don't look like the traditional Arab. They look like Adam Green does. So, right in the trash with the rest of them. But that's not it. This person is an actor from TV. They've been on TV, and they're not just the interviewer actor on TV. They speak with those people on TV. Like we have I swear I had this open. Okay, I did, and it probably reset. So give me a second here. Okay, Blanche Shaheen interviews David Schwimmer. That's interesting. See, they kind of got to spit in your face. She interviews Michael Moore. And then she goes on to make Palestinian food, but she doesn't look like Palestinian. She looks like one of them. And, you know, she's on TV, you know, she's an actor. She's not like making personal videos. She's like an actor on one of these useless gossip things on TV as well. So she looks like one of them. She's hanging out with them. And at the same time, she's hanging out with the alts, the white supremacist version of them. And it's like, no, you've been taking a paycheck from them, right? Like, people outed Hanson Truth supposedly as like a millionaire. So he's been taking paychecks from them his whole life. And Adam Green, it's clear he's taking paychecks. So he can afford to go to Israel. Although, you know, the robots, the humans, the Goyim have paid him probably enough money to go do whatever he wants and smoke as much crack, cocaine as he wants, whatever he does. Not that I care about bashing crack cocaine. It's better than idiot white supremacists. I'd rather hang out with a crack fiend than I mean, they're the same person, right? Probably at the end of the day, probably the same people. Hate to insult crack like that, though. Could be a good drug, never tried it. You never know. That's probably illegal to say, right? Anything the government doesn't approve of. So, yeah. She's an actor from TV, instantly gone. Yeah, I've been on TV before, and I never fucking approved of it, really. And I called to fucking have the media all rounded up. All their leaders' assets seized. All the employees' assets seized as well. Because they're all terrorists. It's easy to convict them of that, but the FBI is terrorists, so they don't convict any of them of that as well. And the CIA should be handling the FBI if the FBI refuses to handle itself. So they're convicted of terrorism. I mean, this is just one of millions charges that they are guilty of. The president and the politicians are also guilty of terrorism by allowing it to go on. So, in everything, it all ties back to that power structure, each being guilty of the same crime and allowing it. And thousands of crimes each. So we're talking about, for most of these people, they're facing like 10,000 years in jail minimum. Sounds crazy, don't it? But that's why they have to work so hard to protect themselves. Because game over isn't like any like these new games where you just get to keep on living. It's like one of those old school games where you get 3 lives and it's game over at the end. No game genie to help you. So, actor from TV, untrustworthy. There's not enough evidence, is it? Hanging out with white supremacists who claim they aren't white supremacists. Not enough evidence, is it? Hanging out with white supremacists who are lying about the group they're starting and stealing it from someone else. Not enough evidence, is it? Hanging out with white supremacists who are hanging out with other white supremacists who have already been exposed for hundreds of things over 10 years. Not enough, is it? Well, it is not enough for you. Do it. It's not that it's not enough for you, it's that you're incapable of understanding anything. And, I mean, if you've been through all this stuff, then you would know better. And if you haven't been through it, then you're incapable or in denial. And it's not so much that these people, the GDL, the white supremacists, can be in denial because they're already educated on the possibilities. So they're not being in denial. They're being unable to stand up to their own, what they claim they were for some reason or another, and it's not in denial. They already knew this. It's like if I tell you this water is in a clear bottle, and you're like, yeah, the water's in a clear bottle, and you go around for a few years and you're like, clear bottle of water, and then someone tells you, no, it's not clear, and you're like, yeah, maybe it's not clear. You're not in denial. You're incapable. There's quite a bit of a difference between living in denial to protect something and being incapable. I mean, unless you really are a terrorist. Again, there's the two options: incapability and terrorism. Which one? You're either incapable or you're capable of being a terrorist. And you've already chosen to be a terrorist. It's one or the other. There's not like this huge array of options at the end of the rabbit hole. There's the rabbit holes are rabbit holes. At the end of the real hole, there's just the end of the real hole, not a whole bunch more rabbit holes. So you get down that hole, and you have figured out that this person cannot be trusted. But a simple look at who this person is, and it's more spitting in your face, because you would begin to question from that. But they work in Hollywood. That's all you really need to know. And if you don't think Hollywood's bad people, then you're a moron. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be on my channel. I don't talk to people who watch TV. I don't hang out with people who watch TV. All they do is talk about TV like someone gives a fuck about them, and like that's really exciting. Like, I pressed the remote button. Look at this dude. I pressed the button today. I pressed the button. TV told me something. I pressed the button and it told me more. God's operating the TV. God said, buy it now. I better buy it. No. Okay, so we've got Blanche out of the way. Blanche, that's a serious person, right? And then, so what happens is then we end up looking at other people from that. Like, okay, so the third person, right, is the dude I just said, the Morphinos, Blackstone Intelligence Network. Again, spitting in your face, like literally calling themselves an intelligence network, and they're lying to you, and they're like misleading you about Trump and all this, and they want you to worship Trump, but they flip-flop. They, of course, flip-flop on it, right? And there's even someone in the comments saying, yeah, like, this is not really new, this is the same stuff, and it's the same bullshit. And so he's tied in with the GDL. Like, that's all it really takes, is him to tie himself in with the people who are tied in with the people who we've been exposing forever. And that's all it takes. And all these commoners, whoever they are, bots, whatever, they all know better. I've been watching them all, like, move from site to site. They all go to the same sites, and then when the new era comes along, they also go to those sites. They don't even quit going to the old sites to populate those, to make them look populated. they move on to the new sites who are exposing the old ones, and like they move on to the GDL pages sometimes. Although the GDL kind of looks like it has its own. So let's stick with the alt-right and alt-right. Like they'll move on. Like the libertarians will move on to the alt-right and the alt-right, and the alt-righters will move on to the alt-right. But they won't like